basics and into a real ship, then build your reputation.
Welcome to Skull and Bones. Our game takes place during the golden age of piracy, in a world inspired by the beautiful yet dangerous Indian Ocean. You'll start your journey as an outcast, whose goal is to become the most infamous pirate to sail these treacherous waters. After surviving a shipwreck, you begin your adventure in St. Anne, one of the pirate dens in our world. Dens are centers of pirate activity, where you can craft new ships and equipment, provision for your expeditions at sea, pick up contracts, and socialize with other players. Any pirate worth their salt will tell you that preparation is key to success. Get ready for any challenges that come your way by checking that your cargo is stocked with items like food and ammunition. Once you're set, it's time to head out and explore. As a rookie pirate, you'll only have access to a small dhow, but as you progress, you'll be able to craft different ships, each with their own unique playstyle. At sea, you'll need to pay close attention to the condition of your ship and the morale of your crew. Your crew are a pack of vicious raiders and rovers who will mutiny against you, if not kept well-fed and happy. If your ship sinks, you'll lose some progress and respawn at the nearest discovered den or outpost. The good news is that most of your cargo will be recovered, and you'll have the opportunity to retrieve the rest from the wreckage. But you'd better be quick, as other players can also steal it. As a pirate captain, your reputation is everything, and our game tracks this through infamy. The higher your infamy, the more opportunities you'll get. One of the many ways to grow your infamy is to take up contracts. These are deals that you can make with other pirates in the world. Contracts can have great rewards if you're successful, or costs if you fail. You can also gain infamy by completing other activities, such as exploration, plundering, treasure hunts, investigations, dynamic events, and much more. You can undertake these either solo or with other players. The world of Skull and Bones is filled with riches and resources that you'll be able to gather as you explore. Lagoons and rivers are teeming with dangerous wildlife that you can hunt for animal skins and meat. You'll also be able to harvest a variety of raw materials, such as ore and wood, that can be refined and used for crafting. Crafting is an essential activity for you to progress as an infamous pirate. Obtain blueprints and use your refined resources to craft stronger ships, weapons, and armors. In Skull and Bones, ships serve many different purposes. Cargo ships are slower, but useful if you need to transport large volumes of loot. Navigation ships sail faster, but have less cargo space and lower hull HP. Firepower ships have more gun ports, allowing you to deal higher damage, but are more challenging to maneuver. Similarly, you can craft a wide array of unique weapons and armors, from Greek fires to giant ballistae to rocket launchers and mortars, as well as different armor types, which have varying strengths and weaknesses against incoming attacks. With your new fleet and growing arsenal, create a loadout based on your personal playstyle to become a force of destruction. Out in the open ocean, opportunities and threats are abundant. Use your spyglass to identify lucrative trade routes or wealthy merchant ships and assess your prey's cargo and firepower. Strategize a plan of attack based on your opponent's defenses and take advantage of their weak points to deal more damage. Sinking your foes from afar rewards you with only a portion of their cargo, as some of it will be lost to the depths. Getting in close to execute a boarding maneuver will help maximize your gains. But beware, you can turn from predator to prey in a heartbeat if you attract the unwanted attention of privateers, the merciless pirate hunters that patrol the seas. If you enjoy the thrill of the hunt, you can also seek out other players and rain terror on them. Such PvP battles are high-stakes activities that can be rewarding if you emerge victorious. From your spoils of battle, personalize your individual look with outfits that command respect. You can also select from a multitude of ship customization options to instill fear in your enemies. With the wind in your sails, journey to the furthest reaches of the Indian Ocean, from the coast of Africa to the East Indies. Encounter extreme weather events like violent storms and monstrous rogue waves. Keep your eyes peeled for outposts, which are safe spots where you'll be able to dock your ship for a short rest from the perilous seas. Here, you can trade with traveling merchants and clandestine smugglers selling rare and illegal goods. Uncover buried bounties at outposts as you decipher treasure maps obtained through your voyages. Although all the content in Skull and Bones can be done solo, you might enjoy ruling the seas with your friends. While sailing, you can also easily invite other pirates you encounter to group up. Synergize your different playstyles, ships, and weapons to defeat deadlier enemies. As you grow stronger, take on more difficult challenges, such as attacking forts and plundering settlements. And, if you're bold enough, engage in dynamic events, like taking down heavily laden merchant ships and their fleet of warship escorts. Now, it's up to you to write your own story. Remember, there is no one path to follow, no one way to play. The world of Skull and Bones is yours to discover.
Society has rules. It decides where you belong and what you're worth. But you can chart a new course. Even when death seems a certainty, do not give up. On the shores of a new world, you awaken. More determined than ever to carve a life of your choice. Fighting under our own flag, we will take what's ours. together, we will take on the world. Society may have rules, but today, you decide where you belong and what you're worth. Now choose. Will you live as pawns or die as pirates?
This could be the greatest heist ever.
Fire away!
And you, Cully, will play the villain. Ready your ship. Gird your loins. And seize that convoy. Destiny is calling. And our names are on her lips.
Fire! They'll sink in a moment! Fire everything you have! Off our starboard!
The end of the 17th century, when ruthless corporations ruled the seas with an iron fist. They ignited a battle for global supremacy to dominate the world's most valuable trade routes. A flood of exotic goods from the Indian Ocean stormed the West, creating new addictions and a violent race for control. And where there's blood, there are predators. Labelled as enemies of all mankind, this new breed of pirates was shown no mercy. Sailing through dangerous waters, they created secret trading networks and built their pirate empires. But they were always on the edge of losing it all and sinking to the depths as skull and bones.
It was over. The old guard was wiped out. Those who kneeled were now at the gates of hell. They were killing us off, burning our seas from shore to shore. We thought there was no way the Empire could win this game. As fate would have it, the tide turned in our favor again. A new wind was at our backs, blowing us straight to heaven. In our new Eden, there was only one rule. First come, first serve. It was dog eat dog. We became kings, queens, lords and masters of our own new worlds. Fortunes poured down on us. They had their empire. Now it was our turn. Enemies became friends. Friends became enemies. The best didn't trust anybody. The philosophy of the day was more and more. We were alone at the top. In a dog-eat-dog world, we were wolves. And wolves hunt in packs.
Men from all over the world sail the treacherous trade routes of the Indian Ocean. The riches in their holds fuel their dreams of power and fortune, while whetting the appetites of those they fear most. Pirates.
would grow a moldy. Way ho away, we'll haul away.
Skull and Bones is back. Ubisoft Singapore's pirate game that we last saw at E3 2018 has finally sailed back into view, and it's out this November. But what exactly is it? Despite how it looks, Skull and Bones is a very different game to Assassin's Creed Black Flag. In fact, it's much more like Sea of Thieves than any of Ubisoft's traditional open world games. To make sure you're all set and ready to sail, we spoke to game director Ryan Bernard to find out the 7 things you need to know about Skull and Bones. Unlike most of Ubisoft's open world games, Skull and Bones does not have a campaign.
We do have pivotal characters or kingpins in the game that you'll meet in your journey through the game, and they will have bits of story and background that you will be able to do with jobs or the contracts with them. But it is definitely not a storyline driven game. You don't finish Skull and Bones and have credits and a cutscene at the end, so it's something we want to perpetuate as a live game for years and years to come.
Instead of a storyline written by Ubisoft, Skull and Bones' story is one you make yourself. You set your own objectives, decide how you'll sail the waves, and plunder ships to increase your wealth and infamy. You can do all of this solo, but Skull and Bones is a shared world game with up to 20 players on each server. You can team up with those other players, or hunt them down, sink their ships, and steal their treasure. So if there's no campaign, what exactly do you do in Skull and Bones? Well, the Indian Ocean is full of opportunities. There's plenty of characters offering work contracts that lead to adventure, explosions, and, most importantly, heaps of treasure.
We want them to be pirate-oriented, so it's about bringing some dangerous contraband to different places around the world, or going after and taking out named pirates that are causing trouble for one of the kingpins, or plundering one of the settlements to get a certain item. So generally they fall into categories of getting things for the pirate that wants those things, or taking things from one place to another for them that's very dangerous along the way, and you can't lose it or you'll end up paying the consequences.
As you explore the ocean, you'll discover trade routes, hidden islands, and enemy armadas. Each one is a new opportunity to fill your hold with booty and raise your infamy. And the more infamous you become, the more you'll be respected by the world's characters. Infamy is Skull and Bones' progression system. As you increase your infamy rank, you'll unlock the ability to captain more impressive ships and experience the game's higher level opportunities.
Your name is a big deal. So how can we work in this risk reward, the progression into something that you basically risk, as they did back in this time when you're taking on activities. So if you sink a big ship or a name,
Making a spear and cooking a fish is enough to survive, but to thrive you'll want to make the most of Skull and Bones' crafting system. It starts with, well, almost everything you can find.
we want this feeling of everything in the world to have value. So either, if you find something, it's something you can use immediately, or it's something you can save for a blueprint or a design later, or it's something that you'll need as a component to a recipe for food, or it could be something you can sell.
Raw materials collected by gathering and plundering can then be taken to craftsman NPCs, who can turn them into valuable items for your ship. That could be building a set of new cannons that can more efficiently blast an enemy vessel to splinters, armor plates to protect your hull, or even furniture to make your ship feel a little more personalized. Your ship is your most important possession in Skull and Bones. As the game is set almost entirely at sea, your ship is both your transport and weapon. As such, Ubisoft Singapore has put effort into making sure it's easy to set up your sails and fire your cannons.
I think it's very intuitive. It's very easy to pick up with sailing your different ships that we have in the game. Combat is something that we also wanted to make sure that it's very intuitive, something that's, like if you were playing a shooter.
There's a variety of ships to captain, from tiny dhows and sloops to the mid-sized sandbucks and brigantines and beyond. Each can be fitted with a wide range of guns, from classic cannons to more specialised equipment like flamethrowers and the multi-barreled mortar. Combining the right ships and guns will be important, as different contracts will demand different approaches. A courier task requires an entirely different setup to a fortress assault, for instance. It's also important to remember that your ship and cannons aren't your only tools. Smart use of your crew is vital if you want to sail away with the best loot.
As you do damage, your crew gets kind of whipped into this fervor, and at some point you'll be able to execute what we call a crew-to-crew attack. If you time it right to where your enemy ship is lower health, they will execute a boarding maneuver, and that hooks them in, they strap in, and that's the only way that you get all the loot in the cargo.
While most of Skull and Bones world is made up of water, there are locations on land that you can visit and explore. These areas are similar to base camps in games like Far Cry and Assassin's Creed. They are where you'll meet NPCs and other players, take on contracts, craft new items, and build up your fleet. The biggest of these locations are the pirate dens, but smaller outposts can be found scattered throughout the Indian Ocean.
So in the dens, this is where you'll have your warehouse, where you will most likely be socializing with other pirates, where you can craft all of your different weapons and new ships and those kind of things, where you can refine materials. Outposts, which are scattered all the way throughout the world, these rotate. So it could be one of the factions is at that outpost at this time, and they're offering a certain set of contracts just for the time that they're actually there in that outpost. Places where you buy the new blueprints or designs as you progress through Infamy will be in these outposts. You'll also be able to find some resources. You'll be able to find treasure maps, which are pretty cool in the game. You'll find bits of lore that lead to the story. Why is everybody here? What happened? There's a deeper underlying story that it's not a linear narrative, but it's something you can investigate and learn about as a player.
And those are the 7 things you need to know about Skull and Bones. It's set to release this November, so be sure to stay tuned to IGN for more information about what to expect in the Indian Ocean. And don't forget to check out the Skull and Bones CGI trailer.
With the waves beneath you and the wind in your sails, the Indian Ocean is yours to fully explore in Skull and Bones. But as we recently learned, most of Ubisoft's upcoming pirate simulator takes place at sea. So what is out there to discover aside from water, and well, more water? We spoke to developers at Ubisoft Singapore to find out.
The gameplay on land is about socializing, crafting, building up your fleet, and taking contracts in the game, in either a den or the outposts.
Despite the majority of Skull and Bones map being made up of ocean, you can step off your ship and walk on dry land. Not every island you see is explorable, but you can weigh anchor at dens and outposts, 2 special location types that have everything that a pirate needs to prepare for further adventures.
The particularity of the land also is that it offers you a safe zone where nobody can attack you. The role of the pirate is to do some back and forth between the safe land, where you can build your ship and customize your ship, but also trade some resources before to go on the hostile ocean to steal precious cargo that then you bring back. So from land, aside building and crafting and trading, also you can take some contracts to make some money from some other pirate kingpins. As your infamy begins to spread across the Indian Ocean, you'll gain an access to your own pirate lair, from where you can kickstart your ascent to a pirate kingpin by manufacturing and smuggling illegal and high-value goods.
Skull and Bones' world has been designed as a living space that changes as frequently as the tides. Some characters won't stay in one place forever, so you'll need to explore the map to find the right people with the right opportunities.
Spread all over the world, you will find some outposts where you can also meet other smugglers or some local rebels fighting against the mega corporations. We call them ephemeral zones because the NPC you will meet in this outpost won't always be the same because they are also traveling, they are moving from a place to another one. When you connect to Skull and Bones, the first thing to do is look at your map and to see where the trade routes are, where the merchants are, before to select the right ship, provision it and equip it and set sails to the direction that is more interesting for you.
Sailing, trading and smuggling are all important aspects of a buccaneer career. But what about treasure hunting? Perhaps the most famous of all the pirate pastimes.
There are a lot of treasures hidden in all the outposts, so you need to board some ships and to steal pieces of treasure, or you can also scavenge some wrecks to find other pieces of map. According to some drawing and some landmarks, once you find the right island, You can also use a land compass that will help you to find the location of the treasure.
While there are plenty of important things to find and do on land, the core gameplay of Skull and Bones takes place at sea. With that in mind, Ubisoft Singapore has put a huge amount of work into making the ocean an interesting and challenging place to explore.
So our water, it's essentially a deforming mesh, and that deforming mesh informs the physics. So the boat is actually interacting with the waves. It's not just sailing straight and we add some splashes or like an animated texture. We have other physics properties that each ship will read from. So there's buoyancy and there's drag. So this affects how far into the water the boat will go, how slow they will go through it. So each ship should feel different based on the size and how heavy it is.
Since sailing is such a focus, the naval mechanics have had to evolve beyond what we saw in Assassin's Creed. Things like the weight of your items in the hold and the direction of the wind all need to be taken into account.
Of course, wind should be important to sailing and navigation, but the wind direction actually affects the speed of your ship. A good player will navigate better with the wind at their back and tack better and therefore be a better navigator. So it's just another element of the world that the player needs to be aware of.
But while the systems are more detailed now, Skull and Bones is definitely not a hardcore sailing simulator.
You don't need to be a sailor to play Skull and Bones and be able to understand what to do, but as you learn how to use the wind better and what that means and what does your weight mean in your cargo and the type of ship that you have, you'll see that there is advantages to being a better captain and a better navigator.
The waves of the Indian Ocean can frequently be calm and beautiful, but Skull and Bones has a full weather system that can totally transform its waters.
Well, we want to make sure that there is different types of weather. So you can have some light rain, you can have incredibly crazy supercell storm, and they will feel dynamic. We want the player to be surprised by that and feel the threats as you normally would at sailing out in the open seas.
A storm can be as dangerous as a 100-gunner galleon, so one of Skull and Bones' biggest challenges will be learning how to sail when the water is determined to break your hull.
When you enter the storm, obviously the waves get a lot bigger. That means that the certain size of ship you have could affect you. You could flood, you could take damage. Visibility will change. It'll be a lot darker, so maybe you won't be able to see threats. So yeah, it forces the player to make sure he's equipped properly for the journey with the right ship. Maybe they have enough food and weapons in case they engage someone.
Most open worlds create variety through different biomes and environments, but the ocean setting means Skull and Bones can't really do that. Instead, the developers have paid close attention to the different water states and the iconography of the golden age of piracy to ensure that each area of the map feels new and interesting.
Wind affects the water. The terrain affects the water. So if I'm in a coastal sea near the shoreline, the waters will be appropriately different. I can go inland, and then we're using the river technology, which we have two different water technologies. So more than ever, the world needs to feed the water and then feed the player to help him decide how to act. Not only that, we have the biome diversity of the Indian Ocean. So when I go to Africa, the water will look and feel different than when I go to the East Indies. We wanted to really show the diversity and the realism of water.
As you travel through different territory for the factions, you'll see the colors changing, the flags, the iconography change around you. So you'll be aware of, ooh, I'm in Farah territory, or I'm in the French territory. The color schemes and all of that will change, breaking that up with dynamic events or things that can kind of go, ooh, what is that? And get the player to investigate are really important, because you don't want to just sail, for forever as you're moving, because it's a big game. So that's basically what we try to do, is break up the passage with different things you can engage with, helping a merchant out, repairing a ship.
You can be distracted by also broken pieces of map you will find in a bottle, and that will lead you towards some treasure hidden on the remote islands. You can find also a ship that is looking for some help. You can decide to escort that ship first before to go back to the prey you had started to shadow. Something we implemented also in the game is that sometimes, depending on the value or the properties of the cargo you are transported, you can attract also specific enemies such as pirate rogues, the rivals who will try to eat a piece of your pie.
Skull and Bones' massive open world is beautiful, and you'll want to explore just for the sake of seeing its many sights. But exploration is also vital to staying alive, thanks to the survival mechanics that fit into the core gameplay loop. You need to constantly be searching for new resources and gathering raw materials to build better ships, feed your crew, and advance your infamy.
In the world of Skull and Bones, you will evolve from the status of castaway, stranded on a desert island, to the role of middleman, working for other pirates, and then to the status of kingpin. So to rise from the zero to hero, but you will first have to collect the resources that will allow you to build your ship and craft your weapon, and that will allow you also to upkeep the morale of your crew, because we have a system of mutiny. So in the game, but you can use a small ship and a harpoon to fish some sharks and even some crocodiles. But you can use also a large set of tools to chop some trees or to collect some irons. You can also scavenge some wrecks and steal some pieces of ship. And of course, you can plunder the rich merchant company and all their forts to collect big amount of resources. The value of the resources is based on high risk, high reward.
If the term survival mechanics fills you with dread and memories of depleting thirst meters, don't worry, Skull and Bones isn't that kind of survival game.
As a captain, you don't have a status, you don't need to drink or to consume some food yourself. If you don't feed or don't provide your crew with water, after a while they might turn against you, kick you out of your own ship and maroon you on some island. But if you feed them properly and if you cook also some food providing additional temporary buff, you can also increase the speed of your ship and the damages you will deal because they have more energy.
Its massive map may be mostly water, but it looks like there's still plenty to explore in the world of Skull and Bones. For more on Ubisoft's Pirate Sim, why not check out the 7 things you need to know about Skull and Bones, or check out the latest trailer.
Those who master the sea conquer the world.